corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Chief Concerns is presented by BetOnline and Olipop. Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns, and ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year. It's football season, and you know what that means? It means it's time to get in on BetOnline. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our 150 slot games. Head to the website today and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Come on, baby. Go, 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 go. Yes! That's a first down. It's a first down. It's a first down. This football season, I'll be putting down normal sodas like Coca-Cola for Olipop. Olipop offers a healthier alternative with its low sugar content and natural ingredients. Olipop is more than just a drink. It's a wellness companion that supports your digestive health. Packed with prebiotics, this fizzy elixir helps promote good bacteria in your gut, leading to improved digestion and overall well-being. So go ahead, click the link in the description and use promo code SODALOVE and get your can of Olipop so you can enjoy the game guilt-free. Go Chiefs. Use the promo code SODALOVE for 15% off now. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns post-game show. I'm Marcus Dash, my brother Teja Dash, and former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn will be joining us momentarily. He's leaving the stadium right now, so you know how that can be pretty tough for, I think, any stadium's pretty hard to get out of. But yeah, he'll be leaving that, and that was one hell of a game to go to. And he'll come on and tell us about the atmosphere in there. There's a lot of Chiefs fans in there. But let me just say, I mean, like, to escape that game in the gauntlet of the first 3 games this season, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and then Atlanta, I think everyone thought that, or a lot of people thought that we were going to at least have one loss within that time frame. And I thought at the beginning of the season when the schedule came out, I thought this was going to be our letdown game. I thought, you went to the gauntlet of Cincinnati and Baltimore, and then you got to play Atlanta at Atlanta Sunday night. And again, it's a dome game, so it's another game that Mahomes wins. And, I think now he's 16-1 in dome games or in dome games, I believe. But just an incredible game. We'll obviously get into the nuts and bolts of things. Yeah, that's a you kind of line. But what did you make of this victory? Very feel like a lopsided, like kind of domination of a game, but it went to the end, just like every other game has this season for us. And it feels like every game that I watch over the last 2 years, it feels like that. But what did you make of this win against Atlanta?
I like that we're battle tested and winning close down to the wire games. It's fun. It makes it interesting. I mean, I wish we also made it easy on ourselves too. It doesn't always have to be a last minute thing, right? It's weird because last week, statistically, we mostly got beat by the Bengals, right? And then the Ravens, the first half, I remember we said this, the first half felt like we should have been losing by more at certain points of that game. But this one's like the opposite. I felt like we were beating them pretty bad. I felt like, statistically, we kind of had them. Pretty much dominated most of it. Ultimately, it was one in the red zone, though, if you think about it. Our red zone offense kept them in it. I mean, we should have had either a field goal or a touchdown in the beginning, which would have made this out of range. But our red zone defense is what came up big to kind of stop them and hold them and not let them score and win, right? I know there was a questionable PI call that it wasn't called, but the refs did a good job of making up for the next drive by giving them about like 40 yards worth of penalties. So, they couldn't get 1 yard with the league's one of the best all-around backs. If you can't do that, then, you don't deserve to win.
Yeah, Miss PI, sure. Yeah, you're right about that. DZ is me in the comments. Miss PI, 100%. But you look at the last drive that Atlanta had, there were some questionable calls. There calls that Collinsworth was kind of scoffing at on that last drive. So you had the horse collar, which was legit. And then you had McDuffie's, I think, PI, or no, was it McDuffie?
It was Connor, illegal hands to the face, which didn't happen.
Yep.
And that would have been, I think, that would have been like a 3rd and long, I believe.
Yep.
And then the was it the McDuffie one where he just ran to McDuffie and McDuffie got a PI for it? Is that the other one?
Yeah. So they did a job to make up for it. I thought the Brian Cook no call in the end zone was pretty egregious. And obviously, horse collar, of course, that's a penalty, cut and dry. The fact that Mooney had to complain about it to get the horse collar, I thought that was kind of interesting. It was right in front of the referee. So sometimes, man, I don't know. Referees miss these things right in front of their faces. But I will say referees did a good job of trying to make up for that no call in the end zone. Regardless, I thought for the most part, the game, there wasn't like many very questionable calls. I'll say the rough of the passer on Chris Jones was pretty questionable in the beginning of the game, which led to their second scoring drive.
Yep, that was a bad one.
But I mean, whatever. There's gonna be good calls, gonna be bad calls. I mean, it happens in these games.
I know we get calls as a Chief fan. I know we get them, but I also, it makes me like take off the rose-colored glasses and say like, I don't flip out when we don't get them because I know it all evens out one way or the other. There's just a huge magnifying glass when we do. That's all.
Yeah,
the winning team's always going to get it.
I agree, and that Brian Cook play didn't hinder them from allowing Atlanta to get another shot at it, and they did. I mean, to come up empty in the red zone 2 times in a row, they should have really just gone for a field goal, then you get the ball back. Because I mean, for the most part, they were getting us. I mean, we weren't. I mean, we haven't looked the sharpest on offense. Yes, the numbers would indicate that we did look decent until we got to the red zone today, but I mean, they were doing a pretty good job of containing Mahomes. You stop us on the very next drive. You get the ball back, you kick a field goal, you win by 1, and we have 40 seconds to come back and do something. I mean, I don't know. Atlanta had a shot in that game.
I was already looking at the clock going, look, how much time do we have? They score right here. We're gonna have like 40 seconds. Okay, I was like, okay, I was already mentally preparing myself for that kind of drive that we've seen a lot. So we are prepared for that too, luckily. So.
Yeah, I think the story of this game, we'll get into kind of all the different things, but the defense was huge. I was scared. First drive, we looked like dog crap. That defense couldn't stop anything. It was quick. Cousins got them down there. Boom, 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 boom. And shoot, I was like, okay, is this kind of day we're going to have? I mean, Drake London scoring a touchdown. Kyle Pitts had the long one that was later on in the game. But that first drive, I thought was going to set the pace for like, But like Spags always does, he recalibrates after that first drive, sees what you're doing, and then he just started bringing the heat. He started bringing the heat on Kirk Cousins, and that's the one thing you get to Cousins. You rattle Kirk Cousins, you get to Kirk Cousins, and you have him kind of, throwing interceptions like he did the one that Chamari Connor, that was hit in the air from our guy, Turk Wharton caused that one, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I thought defense played great. I will give a shout out when JD comes on, but Nick Bolton was phenomenal. He's a guy who, for some reason, has been on the microscope for the longest time for Chiefs fans. There's a big contingency that doesn't like Nick Bolton for whatever reason. I don't know if they're Kansas fans, Kansas State fans, but they have this weird thing against Nick Bolton. And the guy, time and time again, gets after it. The guy didn't play all preseason. The guy didn't play at all. During training camp, and he was getting first game of the season. Yeah, Isaiah Likely kind of dominated, but Isaiah Likely dominated a lot of guys in that game. But Bolton got the spotlight for it. Bolton slowly getting back into it. And look, today it was third game in. That's what, almost a month of being, playing football. And he looked fantastic tonight. And, the game-winning tackle at the end. The guy left the field twice for injury, or one time he was down for injury, came back up, And then he left the field. They came back in and makes the game-winning tackle on Bijan Robinson, not letting him go anywhere. And they didn't let Bijan Robinson do much of anything tonight. Even him and Tyler Algier didn't do shit. So the running game, we stepped up as far as stopping the run game, which I thought was, something that could have been tested a little bit. But our run defense looks 10 times better than it did last year. 10 times. And I don't know what it is because it's pretty much the same crew out there. I don't know what the difference is, but what did you make of the kind of defensive performances tonight?
We completely shut down Robinson on the ground. He couldn't do anything. 16 for 31. I need to check his game log to see if that's his worst output in his short career, but he couldn't do anything. Bolton was on him. I mean, he had 3 tackles for losses, 7 solos. Algier was more successful on the ground than Bijan was actually. They'd be smarter to go. I said this to you earlier. They'd be smarter to go to more of like a Gibbs Montgomery type system between those two guys. Let Algier be your masher, and then Bijan just get him in space. That's all you should really be doing at this point. Like, don't obsess over getting through the tackles. Whatever. D-line played outstanding. I think we may have found our D tackle next to Chris Jones. Wharton just looks the part. He's getting better every week. He's playing on that 1-year deal, so that contract he'll be looking for. If he keeps playing like this, he's going to get paid. But yeah, we got pressure pretty much all game from just our front, bringing up clever blitz packages like Collinsworth was talking about. Even Bolton bluffing was getting someone a free pass at him. We hit Cousins in the back so many times. We were like just a quarter second away from him fumbling that. Like that, FAU smacked him good. Tranquil smacked him really good. He got hit a few times. We were all over him. Great game plan by Spags. It did start off a little rocky. What interesting about that, that's the only scoring drive this season that a tight end or a running back failed to catch a pass. At least that first one. I need to check on that last one. But as far as that first one goes, first one all season like that. And then after that first scoring drive, they didn't have a drive over 5 plays till the fourth quarter. We held them under 5 plays or under 6 plays till the fourth. Then they have like a bunch of successful drives. So going into that last quarter, we were like doubling up their plays and doubling up time of possession. We were killing them on that.
I think Turk Wharton, fantastic. A lot of guys got in this game that, Wharton's kind of shown his kind of body of work throughout the season so far. I think him and Chris Jones have the most combined pressures between any D tackle duo in the league, which is pretty nice to have that because we've been waiting for another guy to step up, and it seems like this year is Turk Wharton's year to finally do that. And then you look at other contributions tonight on the defensive end. FAU, King Felix came in, had a nice play, but he was unblocked, I will say, for that play. But he laid the wood. He showed a lot of people out there that he can lay the wood. Tramari Connor again steps up. Tramari Connor has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you can't say enough about the guy. He was the MVP last week, and many would say, the MVP of the game last week. But he comes in again, huge. The pick, and he also hands that ball off. Great coverage guy.
Eddie.
Yeah. At the end of the game, where Drake London kind of like boxed him out and got him off, and he had good coverage on the play.
He was right there. His hand was right in the cookie jar. Just couldn't get it down.
He's all over the field. Like, he's one of those guys who's when any action's going on, he's right by it.
He is.
So he's one of those guys that Spags is we're slowly starting to see who's becoming his favorite guy on that defense. And we see a guy utilize all the plays, kind of like beginning of when we started to see Snead being utilized more. Remember the beginning before he was our top dog? Remember how Snead was playing all over the field?
Yep.
Nickel, you saw him outside, inbox, safety, all over the field, and then until he became our guy. Yeah. That was the way we used L'Jarius Snead. And I remember I'm not saying he is L'Jarius Snead, but by any means, at least right now, when he came out, his measurables are very, very similar to L'Jarius Snead's, Chamari Connor's. And we're seeing right now the early years of L'Jarius Snead. It looks like the early years of Chamari Connor, the way they were using him. And I love it. And now I'm going to have to go look at picking him up in my IDP fantasy leagues because he's all over the ball.
Yeah, I mean, 10 total tackles, 2 PDs, interception. Yeah, he's looking like a stud, man. We're just making DBs. Nazi Johnson looked good. Justin Reed was hitting it on the outside. I know he gave up something, but he hit it on that. I think it was that Mooney. Was it Mooney? He just like struck him and got him behind the line.
Was it Mooney or was it McLeod? It was one of the two. I don't forget.
Yeah. But dude, yeah, our defense just played after that first drive. I gotta say, like, lights out. They pretty much, again, they didn't have a drive over 5 plays till the fourth quarter. And even in the fourth quarter, when they gave up long drives down to the red zone, they stopped them.
Yeah. No, it was talked about it. You name a player, and I can pinpoint a play where they did something good in this game. But yeah, Nick Bolton and Shamari Connor, gotta say MVPs of this game on the defensive side of the ball.
8 tackles for losses as a team, man. I mean, that's a lot. Compared to them, they had 2.
Damn. Yeah, trying to think.
10 QB hits. I mean, like they were just, we were on it.
I will say the pressures from that came from the defensive line front tonight. They were playing without 2 starting offensive linemen after like the second quarter, which, I mean, it's football. Injuries happen, but we should have been dominating the trenches when you're playing with 2 reserve guys.
Yeah. I mean, you'd say that, but a lot of times last year and the year before, we had Patrick O-line that was not giving up that kind of pressure and not giving up. We were still giving holes for Pacheco. So, guys got to step up. That's the point, when in football, you got to have depth.
That's true, man.
Next man up.
That's right. That's true. The other thing I want to say is you kind of highlighted a little bit. Their first drive, they score without going running back or tight end. I got to say, I've been very critical of the way we've handled tight ends and running backs. And I don't know if we've solved that issue. I don't know if we did because, I mean, the time possession was pretty much in our favor all night. So I don't know if they just didn't have the ball enough tonight. But running backs and tight ends were very limited tonight. And all year long, we've been dominated by teams tight end 1, tight end 2, tight end 3. I mean, go back to the Bengals game. Every tight end on the roster was eating us alive. I mean, Gesicki outperformed Jamar Chase. Drew Sample dominated. Eric All dominated us last week. And then this week, Pitts had 2 and then likely week 1. Pitts had 2 catches, had the 1 breakaway play where I think Justin Reese slipped on it. So besides that, there was nothing. And then out of the backfield, they would Bijan at 20 yards receiving tonight. And that was, and he was our leading receiver going into this as far as catches on the season. And what he had 2-3 catches tonight. So there he is.
Hey,
there's the man.
What's up, man? What is up? Oh my gosh, dude.
Was it a good time? Good time?
Great time. Great time. Man, when I'm telling you, like, the celebration of all the people here. So I gotta say hi to my family. Everybody got no. Hey,
everybody.
Mark, what's up, brother?
How are you doing?
What's going on, Mark? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
well.
good. Pretty good.
Great job.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, we on here. We live right now. Yeah.
No, we're live right now.
It's really like back here. So yeah. So yeah, I'm telling you, man. And my thing, I was right there on the section, like a couple rows up from the field, and surrounded by a number of Falcons fans. I had a couple of people that was around me, Chiefs fans, but when I started yelling, they turned back and looked like, man, I thought I was here by myself. I'm like, no, we came in here strong. But dude, just the nerves at the end of the game, the flags that was coming out. And I was just like, man, this dude, the same sideline judge was throwing the same flag. And I was like, man, he was a big old wink to that sideline and the coach, like, yeah, I got you. We're going to keep you in it. And it just, I knew the guys were going to pull it out. I just, I had that faith in it, to be honest with you. So, no, it was a great time, man. Caught with a lot of Chiefs fans, a lot of people down here, oh, you Jason Dunn, I couldn't believe I was walking through. And so, it was a really good time, man. So,
That's
Great,
great.
great game to go to. I mean, obviously, we don't like being on the edge of our seat towards the end of this game. So we kind of like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I want to be able to know we have the game locked up. I want to walk away from my TV, come back, leisurely. But I mean, great game nonetheless to go to live, JD. But we just got done talking about the defense and how the defense saved the day today.
Mhm.
First drive, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I was like, oh no, this is where we're gonna look today. Oh no, and then Spags went to Cook and did whatever he had to do to, I don't know, evoke something out of the defensive line, because the defensive line played like men on a mission tonight. It helped that 2 of their offensive linemen left the game after the second quarter. But nonetheless, you got to play the man in front of you, and the defensive line came to play. Stop the run, and Turk Wharton looks like the co-pilot that we've been waiting for next to Chris Jones.
He has. The first 2 games he played really well. Tonight, you could like visibly see him making plays in the backfield, and so that was my thing too. Like when I was like just checking everything out, it looked too easy going down. I'm like, man, come on, man, it's going to be a long game. And look, I told everybody, you can tell down here it was more of just emotion that they were playing off of. It was such a big game to them, and everybody understood that. Just walking in, and of course, I'm having this Chiefs hat, man. You could just see some of the dirty looks, but we travel well. There's a lot of Chiefs fans that was down here too.
Nice.
But yeah, Turk was amazing tonight. Nick Bolton was amazing tonight. The defense held up at the end when we needed them to hold up, and they back, man, and they won the game for us. So I just, obviously there's some points we need to get better at. And I said, I don't know if y'all was catching my tweets, but I was saying, I was giving different rules to the, keys to victory. And one of them was we had to be 75% in the red zone, and we wasn't. We wasn't at all. And so that's concerning. That is concerning.
And a red zone turnover.
Yes.
It's one thing not to come up with a touchdown. It's another thing just to give the ball away altogether, right?
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So that needs to be rectified. Because you can't go down there, especially with a very hostile team like it was in this environment, and turn the ball over and not get points. So we got to do a much better job of that, getting guys to score with their man, and also too just having that hunger to get in the end zone. That's important. That's vital to what you do. So
I thought we was off period in that first drive offensively. Like Mahomes either threw low or he threw behind guys. Just off. Like I surprised we even got down there the way we did, to be honest. I mean, and it ended the way it kind of seemed like it was going to end for a while, which was a pick, because we were just kind of off and not right that first drive.
My observation for the game, at least the first half, Pat somewhat seemed indecisive. It wasn't like the balls was coming out crisp. It was almost like he was thinking too much, and I could see guys running wide open. I'm just like, man, he's open. What are you looking at? And he was coming out late before the half, the one he threw behind Rashid Rice, and I'm just like, man, it's just it tad off, right? It just the timing of it, and the one that he lofted the turnover in the red zone, the corner route. Especially down there where everything is tight, that the corner is playing that flat route. You got to get that 7, to the back pylon. Yep. And he lofts it. He absolutely lofts it. And it looked like just kind of a lollipop throw as opposed to putting it right on Noah Gray. So I was like, he threw it off his back foot, kind of took a step back. And I was just like, that didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all. So Pat's got to play a much better game than what he played. So that's my take, though. That's my take when I'm just watching the entire game, just watching Pat and when he was working. But when I see guys kind of running open and he's kind of second guessing, I just didn't know where that came from.
JD, one more thing about the defense before we continue with the offense. The guy you defended big time hard on our show was Nick Bolton. You kind of mentioned Nick Bolton a little bit there, and I feel like not redemption, because we already know what Nick Bolton is capable of, what he's done in his career, and that's what he did last few years. He's done enough. But like I feel like the amount of hate that he's gotten from weeks 1 and 2, I think tonight showed what Nick Bolton's all about when he has 3 weeks of playing football under his belt over this season. He misses preseason, he misses training camp for the most part, being injured, but now he's got 3 weeks of playing to get his wings back. And tonight we saw the man's got his wings back.
Yeah. Well, look, I said this before, Marcus. I told you it'd probably taken about week 3, game 3, to get his stride back, getting his legs up underneath him. We know he didn't really have training camp, so it would take time for him to get into shape. And so it was good that this game you seen the Nick Bolton of old, and he was solid. He was absolutely all over the field. I remember one time that he was kind of down, and he got up, pulled himself up. But that's the type of guy he is. That's exactly who Nick Bolton has shown to be. And so I didn't have any doubt. Not having the confidence in a guy because he is hurt and he has had some injuries. I think that's it's
put it in like
disrespectful for what he's done here since he's been here. And I don't think people appreciate some of the things. Not everybody, but some. So when people talk about, Nick Bolton, this and that, if he don't have a good game, then all of a sudden that's what they're talking about. Well, the man has been out. We were talking about last year where he misses 9 games, still 6 in tackles on the team. That's an indication how good a linebacker Nick Bolton is. So I find it surprising that if a guy doesn't have a slew of good games, especially with injury, that you forget who he was and what he's brought to the team. And it's not like he's 30-something years old and, it looks like he's slowing down. No, Nick Bolton's been fighting injury. And so we know, like, once he get into shape and he heals up, he's a different guy altogether. And we've seen that tonight. We really did.
Yes, it does.
So
yes, it does.
incredible.
Yes, it does.
Incredible game by him.
JD, I wanted to, a stat I said earlier, that opening drive touchdown the Falcons have is the only scoring drive we've given up with no catch to a tight end or running back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did it a little differently. They actually used receivers against us. Not many teams do that. They usually just rely on the running backs and tight ends.
Yeah. Well, I think Mooney, they started getting the ball to Mooney at the very beginning, and then all of a sudden Drake London started coming toward the end of the game, and they kind of went away from Mooney. So thank God for that. They got the one big play, the Pitts, on Reed. But I really thought that one play that they was just going to bring it back and line it up again. First down. I didn't know they were going to give it to him down there at the where he caught it at. Because when you do have offsetting penalties, I think you just you line back up and do it all over again. But that's what I thought it was going to be. But he had just that one big play on Reed, and part of that was just the struggle of getting the pressure on Kirk Cousins. And I said we had to bring pressure to our Cousins. I said we had to bring pressure, and Spags started doing some of that. He was very patient toward the end to say, look, we know Kirk Cousins will start to fold, and you see this, throwing the ball in the dirt, guys' legs and stuff, when you start putting guys in his face. And so that was good just for our defense to kind of show up toward the end, which we knew they had it in them.
And then turn right.
Yeah, I was telling Teja, it seems like the way they're using Shamari Connor is the same way they use L'Jarius Sneed at the beginning of his emergence. Before they moved him out there, remember he was kind of all over the place. He played nickel in the box, safety, blitzing him. It seems like that's what they're doing with Shamari Connor right now, and it's like the early days of how they use Sneed. It's almost like they're using him like as a Swiss Army knife on defense, and like it's scary because he's got a knack for the ball, JD. He's always around the play.
Yeah. He's a football player. I tell you all the time when coaches say a guy's a football player, that's one of the greatest compliments you could ever get, from a coach, and guys to recognize it. And so, like you said, he's kind of a ball hawk. He knows where he needs to be to make a play. He missed the one tackle where Drake London, I think, to get first down, where kind of put him in a position, toward the end. But other than that, man, he did. Other than that, man, he played solid.
Yeah. And even on that play, I mean, he was right in the position for it. He just, Drake London, he was like a power forward box out like a point guard for a rebound.
One of the girls in the stands, there was a Atlanta Falcons fan. She said, "Well, who's your favorite player on the team?" I said, "Look, I played, and so all the guys I'm favorite. Now, obviously, I'm more biased toward the tight ends, of course, because that's the position I played. But if I had to answer a question again, probably one of my answers would be Chamari Commerce."
Wow,
that's cool.
That's high praise, JD.
Yeah, it is. Man, look, and you recognize it. I recognize it. He does a great job, man. He's just a solid guy. And I said this before last week. Last week I said Jamari Commerce is a guy that you have to have on your football team. You have to have a guy like that.
Yeah, that's a Hokie right there. It's pride of Virginia right there, JD. Virginia Tech Hokie.
Yes, sir.
So we talked about the red zone troubles, which is like, I feel like this is kind of a broken record going back to like last year. The red zone troubles continue and they continue.
Yep.
But if you look at this game as a whole, yes, while Pat looked off, throwing balls behind him, throwing balls in the dirt, it was kind of a dominant performance as far as time of possession. And we were going 15, 14 play drive, 70 yards every time. But obviously when we got down there, it was like, oh, 4th and 1, bring out the field goal unit. It's like, okay, like we need to finish drives here. But like, it's so weird because it was a dominant performance, but on top of that, just like the points didn't really show it. And like, it came down to the wire when it shouldn't have, when we should have had 30 points at least on this team. Yeah. Obviously every week it's a new game, but it's still the same outcome, and that's coming up short in the red zone. What is it if you had a pinpoint what you're seeing out there as far as why we're having these troubles on? Is it play calling? Is it Pat? I mean, what is it? Line?
I think it's a culmination of things. But one thing and I'll first say this is that pisses you off more than anything else as an offense and not getting into the red zone, because that's an end zone, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're working for, because that wins the game. And so you could do 12 play drives, but then all of a sudden you don't come up with anything, and you trot the kicker out there. And I love Buckner. And look, he does a great job, right? We know he's going to put it right down the middle, but our job is to score points. And when we don't do it, that really pisses you off. And so I think part of it is there's a nastiness that you had to get on the offensive line as tight ends and as receivers to get your guy in the end zone. And so when you don't do that, you start looking around like, what is the problem? And so it could be some of it play calling. I think it was masterful to throw to Rice toward the outside. I think we probably should have done a little bit more of that. Maybe some more passes in the middle. I think the middle was kind of wide open. I noticed that we didn't really go toward the middle as far as throwing the football. But I really can't tell you. I'm going to evaluate this game even more to know exactly what our problem is. But I do believe some of it is kind of the play calling. But if you are the 2-yard line and you can't get in, that's just wheel. That's wheel. That's all it is. And I know when I was playing, I would come to the sideline, be pissed off, and everybody would be upset. Seriously. I mean, that's your job. That's what you live for. And so you can't do it, man. You feel like you're a failure, man. That's demoralizing. It really is.
That was the hardest one to swallow, was the third quarter opening drive. That one we got all the way down to the 2-yard line. That was tough because we looked really good on that drive. We were crisp. Mahomes was sharp. He was hitting guys in stride. It actually looked – it was like, okay, this is what I wanted to see from the start. The first drive, I don't like throwing interceptions in the red zone, but, again, we already established it didn't look good. That's why it was 17 plays, because – we get them on like a third down almost every single time, 4th down, and we converted them, but we didn't barely, right? We didn't look good. But that third quarter drive, we looked so sharp, and to get down all the way to the 2-yard line, kick a field goal after that kind of drive is awful. That was brutal.
Then we're gonna make a left, my love.
And I agree with you 100% on that, Teja. Because it did look like, okay, now Andy's in his bag. Now they calling some plays. Balls coming off of Patrick Ham fast. He's getting rid of it quick, and it looked like we were in rhythm. Like it was like the whole. We just turned everything over to at halftime. Made the adjustments. We know what they was going to give us, and we just start darting them up. And then all of a sudden it ends like that too. It's like, geez. Like I said, man, it really is. Just as an offensive player, man, I'm pissed off just even thinking about it, like not getting in. So, and I heard the announcer was saying, well, at least they've been holding the Chiefs to field goals. So that was a win for them. To keep us out of the end zone, that was a win for their defense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and Steele looked great on that drive too. I mean, it was kind of everything was working. The pass game was working. Steele looked great, and he looked the entire game. I thought he was phenomenal. But on that drive, JD, and we always talk about this, it's that cue crap that just gets old sometimes. And Andy can't help himself. What happens on that? On that second down play where like Mahomes goes in motion, then it's a direct snap to Steele. Come on, man, just get it in there, man. Just run the normal way.
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, why would you give it to a guy? Keep the ball in your guy's hand, Patrick Mahomes' hand. You know it's going to probably be a direct snap. We know this. Everybody can see it. So it's not going to be a pass. The guy back there's not going to pass the ball. If you want to really trick him, get him to pass it to Pat or something. You know what I mean? But I think I know where I don't know. I don't know why they thought that was going to work. But sorry, man. I guess it's just one of those things you just gotta keep working on. The guys just got to go ahead and start chopping wood. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Second goal from the one, I would even just I would get Steele on center and do a tush push with him.
Yes, you could do that.
He looks like someone that could do the tush push, and he can move 1 yard. That's all you need is 1 yard.
Or Trav, right? Steele, Trav, those guys.
Yeah.
Like when it came back to the replay on the screen, and I couldn't see who it was, but there we couldn't get up to the second level to the linebackers, and that was the problem. They was the one that's making the tackles kind of in the backfield. And like I said, if you're a defensive tackle, all you need to do is make a pal. And so if you make a pal right there, at the line of scrimmage, you've done your job. That's it. Don't make it easy for them. Don't create any lanes for them to get through. And so, they just kind of. They won in that regard against us. So,
yeah, there was a few play calls that's come to mind as far as just like wonky plays that it was the Rashee Rice a stretch play in the beginning of the game, which we barely got that first down. They reviewed it, we got the first, but what are you doing? A stretch play with Rice? Just go north south, man. Why are we doing that?
Oh man, yeah. I kind of yelled at Rashee Rice too because I was like, man, go north to south. The one that you almost didn't get the first. I was like, man, go north to south. I get, trying to get around a guy, but sometimes you just got to put your shoulder down and run over a joker. Sometimes it just had to happen. But I don't know. Well, Atlanta did the same thing at the end. I'm glad they ran that little sweep. I'm like, it's stupid. Thank you. Run to the outside where everybody could kind of run you down. So your tackles have been playing. The last thing you want to do is open up and try to reach somebody on the outside for 4th and 1. So, you should have heard all the fans, the boos and stuff after that happened, right? Yeah. Oh man. And so I was just like, that's ball game. I said, listen, we're gonna leave. We're not gonna say anything. We're just gonna leave. So the guy was like, man, I appreciate that. So.
There was even a 3rd and short in the, I think, second quarter, I believe. They gave it to P. Ryan. I was like, I'd rather have Steele on that third and short, taken up there.
It was a delayed handoff, a 3rd and 1.
I think so. Yeah, it was a 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2.
No gain. I'd rather have Steele doing that.
Yeah,
P. Ryan ran well. They both, I think, averaged the same per carry, I believe, 4.2. But on short yardage, I just think Steele's our guy on those.
Yeah. That one series where P. Ryan was in the rocket, he was getting some yardage. I was like, that's the P. Ryan that that's the one that we needed to see. He was lowering his head. He was getting through the holes.
Yes.
And the first half, he was kind of dancing around a little bit. I was like, don't stop the dancing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put your head in there and run forward. So.
So I got to get to this, JD. Everyone's asking the question, and I feel like we're going to get this question every week until we see a vintage Travis Kelce performance. So obviously tonight you mentioned Rashee Rice dominated, right? And look at the stats here. So Rashee Rice gained 75 of his 110 yards after the catch across 12 receptions on 14 targets. And Rice's game tonight, he had 14 targets, 12 catches, 110 yards, one touchdown. He was phenomenal. I think I read online he's on pace for 136 catches and 1,600 yards and 11 touchdowns as we speak right now if he keeps on this pace. And we saw him get nicked up a little bit during that game, but he came back out. So we're seeing this Rice being the guy, being the focal point of the offense in the passing attack, while Travis Kelce is not really being that guy right now. So my question to you guys is Rice just that good as his emergence in his second year was just that impressive that's not seeing Kelce get the ball that much? Or is it more there's a disconnect between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce because everyone just wants to wonder why this is that Travis Kelce's not putting up Travis Kelce numbers?
I mean, I don't want to start that narrative, like them two having a problem and an issue, man. I think this is something that, it's still early, third game of the season. We're just looking because we know that Travis has been dominant throughout his entire years, right? I mean, that's what we're used to. And so if he doesn't have, great games, what did he finish up with, actually? What was his?
Who, Kelce?
Yes.
4 for 30 on 5 targets.
Okay. So, I mean, he had 5 targets. Usually around maybe 7 or 8 is usually what is like the usual number is for him. But if Rashid if he's eating, I mean, you got to keep going to him. So hopefully, I'll just say this: whatever it is that's going on, and there were a couple of times that Travis was open, and Patrick missed him. He missed him. And I can see that on the field because I'm just like, what is Patrick doing? Like, who's he waiting to throw the ball to? And I don't know. It seems like he take a few times that he probably could have gotten the ball to Kelce. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what it is. But those guys, I'll say this: I trust those guys more than anybody else on the team. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. I'm not even gonna make it like it's a bad thing, man. They'll figure those things out, man. So,
JD, you still there? We lost your video, brother.
Oh, did you? Okay, y'all still there? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah.
Are you still seeing him?
Okay. Y'all hear my?
Oh, I don't see him anymore.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Teja, what did you make of what you saw from the Travis and Rashee Rice?
I am not that concerned about it yet. I think it's more just about Rice being – I think it's two main things. I think it's Rice just being more effective at something that Kelce used to do better than most people. I think he's not the best at doing that anymore on our team. Get open on short routes, do the little stutter step, and just take off upfield and just get yak and hit people and get upfield quicker than most people. I just think he's becoming better than that Kelce is. Kelce is aging, and I'm not surprised by this because I kept track of this toward the end of last year. I think the last 6 or 7 games of the season, Rice out-targeted Kelce. So it's not like this is that big of a surprise, not counting playoffs, because playoffs is when it seemed like Kelce went back to like old Kelce again, right? And maybe that's why we feel this way, right? Because we saw it headed the way that we see now, and then in the playoffs, a switch was flipped, and then Kelce was back, and I think we thought it would just continue on this season. And it's not. It's kind of reverted back, but actually it's getting worse, or not worse. It depends how you look at it, really. But that trajectory it was on to end the season, the regular season last year, it's just continued on more and more that way. Rice, down the stretch of the season, had out of his last 7 games, he had 3 double-digit target games. Right? I think Kelce had 1 in that time. So it's just heading more and more that way. And I loved seeing Kelce at his best in the playoffs. And if you want to continue seeing that, maybe this is what it's going to kind of have to be, right? But I do think teams haven't caught up with what's actually happening on our team, on our offense yet. I think when teams shift their focus to the attention they've been giving Kelce, when they shift that to Rice, I think you are going to see Kelce going to have another 6 to 8 catch game that looks like old Kelce again. I think defenses are still in 87, 87, 87. Give him a couple more weeks of watching film on Rice, do what he's doing, if that. You might see it next week, actually. But give it a couple more weeks, and they're going to shift their focus real fast. They're not going to let 4 beat you anymore. Then it's going to be, no, guys, we had it wrong. Then they're going to start saying, you know what? Let Kelce get his 6 for 50. Let him get his 7 for 60. That's not going to beat us. Rice's 8 for or 9 for like 120 is going to beat us. That's who's going to beat us. So I think we'll see it shift as defenses shift their attention.
Well, I'll say this. They was running man a lot. And they was running the shallow cross with Rice, particularly for him to catch the ball on those things. And he caught maybe 3 shallow crosses, 4, and a couple of quick little wide receiver screens. And he gets yak yards. That's where Rashee Rice has actually shocked me. It's his yak, making guys miss and not coming down easy.
Yeah, man. Missile.
He is a physical football player and wide receiver. And so when a guy is showing you that, you got to feed him that. But I do agree with you, Teja. So yeah, if this is going to change because now Rashee Rice is doing such a great job, now maybe it does open Kelce up a little bit more, right? And so maybe they'll start using the narrative. Well, Kelce slowed down. We don't have to think about him. We don't have to double him anymore. So maybe they start doing a little bit more as far as scheming, stopping Rashee Rice. And then opens up Kelce, right? But I'm going to say this, man. I want to see more guys get catches besides seeing Rashee Rice and Worthy and Kelce. It was good to see Juju get in the end zone, and
yeah, it was.
I want to see more of those guys. I do, because when you start bringing more guys in, there's more things you can do. I want to see you hit 6 different receivers in a game, 7 or 8 guys. Like we got the personnel to do it. Why not do it? Noah Gray caught one, and Pat was kind of looking him down. I'm just like, Pat, what are you waiting to throw to Noah Gray? He's wide open in the middle. And he finally threw it to him. So I think if we do that, man, getting everybody up to speed, because sometimes it has to be that. Look, we got plenty of weapons out here. Sprinkle the ball around. Sprinkle it around, man. So,
and Juju's TD came when Rice was out, right? Yeah, that was totally Rice's route too. That just would have been him. Yeah. If he was in there, he would have had another touchdown.
Yeah. Well, it just showed that Juju's still effective.
Yeah,
and he should be.
That's why we got him back.
That's why we got him, right? Yeah, just don't just bring him in to block. And I will say this: the wide receivers didn't really do a good job of blocking tonight. I didn't see sustaining on the outside blocking for the guys like they should have. The defensive player was coming out too much, making plays. That was something else that I recognized as well.
Yeah, 8 different pass catchers tonight caught a ball. 8 different guys.
Okay, good.
And on that last drive before halftime, Kelce, we said it too, Marcus. Kelce would have had like 1 or 2 grabs on that drive toward the end. We didn't have any more timeouts, so we couldn't throw in the middle of the field.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, there were a couple of times where Mahomes would have thrown it his way, but if he did, we would have ran out of time and not gotten a field goal. So it's like,
yeah, JD, just to dispel the notion of people who don't go to Chief games and they just, they think of these conspiracy theories. You were there at the game. Did you see anything body language wise that would be like, oh man, there's friction right there between the two of them? Is it just, it's just the way that the game script's going that, it's going to Rashee Rice and not Travis Kelce right now.
Between Pat and Travis?
Yeah.
No, but I did see Travis a little frustrated not getting the football. but I don't think it was. I think it's more him saying, you just didn't see me, right?
Mhm.
It's like when I was like, oh man, I'm open, And so, but if you're open, but Rashee Rice catches it and he gets first down, don't be upset. Don't go to him like, hey, throw me the ball,
Mhm.
right? You don't do that. Shoot, you're trying to win a football game. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
I get it. I saw him run for 30 yards on that play. I get why you did that, Pat.
Yeah.
Good throw. Good decision.
right, good throw. Shoot.
It's like when you see a 3-point ball go up in the air, you're like, no. Yeah, nice shot. Keep taking him. Keep taking him.
That ball that the longest play of the day for Travis was that on that first drive after the half, the first drive that we talked about. That was a money play, the laser ball by Mahomes and a great route by Trav there. That was vintage Pat and Kelce, and that's what everybody wants to see on every drive. But just can't do it every play. So before the game today, JD, you sent the text to me when it came out. That was the word that Wanya was going to be the left tackle, and did not allow a sack. The offense, there was no sacks today across the board, and Wanya looked pretty damn good. Let's be honest, Wanya looked fantastic, and a lot of people out there are saying you got the Kingsley fans who are pissed off that Wanya looked good. I think I don't know why, but I saw some of these Kingsley fans were saying that like, oh well, Wanya got chips and Kingsley never got that. But JD, you were there? You're the blocking extraordinaire. Talk about what you saw from not Kingsley, from Wanya Morris tonight.
I think he did a good job in the pass protection. The run blocking, I thought he needed to be a little bit more aggressive a few times. He didn't get up on the guys like he should have, but he did a good job. Like I noticed like a couple of those, right? Like down in the red zone. And a lot of that is the same thing. That is practice. That is, if you haven't been out there practicing and, you've been hurt, like getting down to get those reps are important. Those are key. But he did a good job. He was solid, man. That's the thing about it. You don't hear his name because he's holding somebody and, hands to the face like it was last game. Pat was upright, took off running. So why would you be upset if anybody in the Chiefs jersey is doing a good job? If he's playing better than Kingsley and he did a good job this game, hey man, congratulate him. Be happy for him. Not saying that Suma may not be back later on or something, but Wanya was the guy to get it done today, and that's okay. Sometimes it has to be that way. So you just, if there's a growth thing right here, then so be it. But Andy, those guys, they made a decision to start Wanya, and a lot of it because at the very beginning of the season, when I was talking about training camp, I said I would have went with the experience. I would have went with the experienced guy. I would have went with Wanya, and then he got hurt, and so same thing. Injury takes you out of it. Suma comes in. I knew he was going to be a good tackle. Had a rough one last week, but they decided to start Wanya. I'm fine with it.
I mean, we don't play favorites here, right? So whoever's looking good at practice, and if they think Wanya is the guy to go to be our blindside protector, then that's what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna be preferring one guy or the other. If Andy Heck and Andy Reid think Wanya is a better left tackle right now, then that's it. That's game over.
How does this still take away from King Suma still being our tackle of the future? It doesn't.
Not at all.
Yeah, it may just be not right now if that's the case, and it's Wanya. So, are you upset because you might have been wrong, or you threw all your eggs in the one basket? Like, oh, well, he's going to be this, and well, maybe not right now, and that's all right. That's okay. So, no, good job by Wanya today. He did a good job, man.
Yeah, he's still getting some criticism on Twitter, but who doesn't? So.
You're always gonna find those folks, Teja. I mean,
they're saying. I mean, they're saying he had hands to the face illegally every single time he blocked. They said that's the biggest complaint online about him.
Yeah, they wanted the flag. So they want the flags on us. Then. That's what they preferred. I got it.
Yeah. Well, people like being right more than they like being successful.
Yes.
They'd rather be right about something that helped them win, their team win in the end, you know? So, you know, that's a weird culture we have now, but that's how it goes. I just think he was good enough to get it done. I think you didn't hear his name, and that's what you want, right? You don't want to hear his name. So I think he had what did he get? I think he got flagged for one illegal hands to the face, didn't he?
Did he?
I think in the early on. I thought I called back a play we had, a first down we had or something. Did it? Maybe not.
I don't remember.
Maybe I'll do something else. Quick question for you, JD. Speaking of hands to the face, can a lineman get a face mask penalty, or can it only be an illegal hands to the face? Because I mean, the Chris Jones one, he grabbed his face mask and like took it off his head. Like, at what point can that be called? Can that be turned into a face mask? Or if it's a lineman, is it strictly illegal hands to the face?
I'm thinking it's illegal hands to the face. The only way I think you could call like face mask is if
like rip it down.
Yeah, or if that guy's offense, if like, you know, he's an offensive guy, that I think that's how they designate it, right? Maybe is that, you know,
maybe
face mask, because I've never really seen maybe an offensive guy be called for face mask. I'm trying to think if a running back's been done for that, like when you stiff arm a guy, you know, sometimes they might call that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure of that.
Yes, they can. Face mask can receive a penalty for twisting, turning, pushing, pulling, controlling an opponent's face mask.
Okay, so they would call it a face mask.
Hands to the face is just thrusting your hand forward above the opponent's frame to contact. So that Chris Jones one should have been a face mask because he grabbed it, twisted, and took it off of him. So I mean that's more than just like thrusting your hand upward. He was grabbing and yanking on that thing. So okay, I was just curious. I was like, that seems pretty excessive just to be hands to the face.
Yeah, definitely more than a thrust. Okay, so before we get out of here, I do want to ask you this, JD, and just more of a funny note. So at the end of the game, Mahomes is trying to kneel the ball, and it looks like he gets his cleat caught in the ground and like kind of was touching at his left knee for a little bit there. After the game, they interviewed him. They said he was fine, that nothing there, but he said his foot got caught on the ground. We can't QB sneak with the guy anymore because he had a dislocated knee a couple of years ago. And now, we can't kneel the ball with our guys? He's going to get his knee his cleat caught in the ground? We can't do these normal things with our quarterback? He can throw all these off-platform throws, but he can't kneel the ball or QB sneak it. What the heck's going on here?
I don't know. You know, it looked like you just, kind of just finding a place and you come get me, and then, but I didn't know I didn't know he twisted. I can't see that from the stands, like him grabbing his ankle and stuff. Or you said his knee? He grabbed his knee?
Yeah, he was grabbing his knee. Apparently, he was trying to shake it off. Apparently, a little bit after that play, but then afterwards, he said he's fine. He said he got his cleat caught on the ground. It was kind of an awkward kneeling on his left knee.
Oh yeah.
It's just why can't you just do these normal things? You can use QB sneak for a yard and just kneel the ball like normally.
Mahomes does. He makes amazing things look easy, but easy things he makes look hard. It's like if Superman couldn't park a car.
That's true. That's a good point.
You can fly, but you can't park your car.
He's not used to it.
Can't do it. No, can't parallel either. I can't do either one.
You can see through buildings or walls, but you can't park your car. Okay.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us, guys. You got JD reporting straight from the scene at the Atlanta Falcons game today. He was there on the ground watching the game live with his family. It looked like a great time. But, guys, we'll be back here on Bleacher Report. There he is. There's the man. We'll be back here. Susan.
Sleep. Hold up.
Sleeping.
Sleep.
So we'll be back here on Bleacher Report next Sunday after the Chiefs take on the Chargers, the 4:25 game. Chargers going to be looking, they may be without their quarterback and edge rusher, Joey Bosa, and Justin Herbert got hurt today, did not finish the game, so we'll see what happens with that next Sunday. Yeah, we'll be monitoring that all week, and you can monitor that with us on Monday and Wednesday on our YouTube channel. That's Chief Concerns. JD and I will be, going through everything to get you guys ready for our Week 4 battle against the Chargers. But we hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. Everybody coming out, man. Good seeing y'all tonight, man. Teja, Marcus, man. Love you, brothers, man. It was, man, when I'm telling you, it was an incredible atmosphere down here. Dude, I mean, I was just sweating. People was joyous. It was a good occasion, man. They had some good fans down in Atlanta, and I'm glad they kind of took it on the chin. They was okay with it, So,
Did anyone have one of those cheap hot dogs?
I have no.
Cheap hot dog.
Yeah, they
That's
said
what
cheap
that?
hot dogs. So Teja, they gave a lot of stuff away because of Arthur Blank, right? And so
Oh, that's
they
right.
had,
That's
The
true.
blank special.
oh man, they had these parachutes coming out with lottery tickets in it
That large tickets and T-shirts.
and T-shirts. It's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, got cups and stuff, man. So yeah, they did it up for Arthur today, man. So it's a good time, really good time.
You get a chance to link up with your not really relative Warwick Dunn there.
No.
But you saw it though, right?
I didn't see Warwick.
Oh, you didn't?
nah.
When they did that tribute, when they took their names.
Yeah.
They had him on there because he was there. Deion Sanders was supposed to be in there, but he wasn't.
Okay.
So he had Roddy White.
I see Roddy.
A couple of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warwick was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, when I used to draft my my fantasy teams on Madden, I'd always get Warwick Dunn and Jason Dunn on the same team, even though I knew you guys were related. But it was still good to have the two Dunns on my teams.
There you go. That's right.
But all right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When JD gives out his grades, and looking forward to see what he has cooking, or Professor Dunn has cooking tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
All right, fellas.
See you guys. Drive safely, guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.